So, just over a year ago, I shared my plans on becoming a millionaire from this very chair, as I've been wondering for far too long if becoming a millionaire is something reserved for just the downright lucky or people who are just a little bit privileged.
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
So instead of wondering any further, I thought why not test the question of, is becoming a millionaire something you can truly work at? And is it possible to do in a timescale, say 5 to 10 years, if you really put your mind to it? So over the last year, I've been trying to answer that question by making progress against my own millionaire plan. But what was this plan? Well, last year I set out a solid 5-step plan on how I was going to accrue £1 million as quick as possible. And to clarify, we're not talking about any of this net worth of $1 million. No one cares if you have $1 million when over half of it is either in a pension or a house. I'm talking to you boomers. My million has to be 100% disposable. Literally millions you can either touch, smell, or even lie on. So in this video, I'm going to be covering how my plan has played out over the last year, share my successes and my failures as I attempt to make a significant improvement on my progression last year of roughly 6% towards my goal, or more accurately, £59,954 in liquid assets outside my house and pension. This video is going to be extremely transparent. I'm really putting myself out there, so please respect that. So, to recap my actual plan, last year I explained that I had a fairly simple 5-step strategy on how I believe I could achieve becoming a millionaire in a reasonable time frame. The 5 steps fall into what I class as a waterfall progression plan. Money would flow from the top and work its all the way down to the bottom where I collectively want my £1 million. To briefly outline the plan, at the very top, I had my primary source of income, which is my full-time job in sales, plus a little bit of gig work that I do on the side. My disposable income from my job would either flow into step 2, which is this YouTube channel, more on this later, or it would fall into my last step, step 5, which is my investments. Any disposable income from my YouTube channel, which either, and you guessed it, flows straight into step 5, which is my investments, or would help fund step 3, step 3 being my new startup business. As you'll have clocked on by now, any disposable income from this would either flow straight into step 5, my investments, or it would flow into step 4, which would be any other projects I might choose to start doing. You and I will both be very glad that I decided to cut out step 4, as honestly, I seriously don't have any more time possible to do anything else, so scrap step 4 for a kickoff. So that's a very quick summary of what my plan looked like at the time. Back then I had £700 a month disposable income to invest in the stock market, with some pocket change to get my YouTube channel going and then get my startup business off the ground. At that time my YouTube channel was making about £175 a month, with over half of that money going towards costs like these lights, the microphone, or even the camera I'm talking to right now. And then my startup business at this moment was little more than a finalised logo, and at that point we had 0 turnover. As of June 12th last year, my combined net worth, ignoring houses and pensions, was about £60,000, with £57,000 in my Vanguard account and then £3,000 in my crypto portfolio. So £60,000 being 6% towards my goal of £1 million. So I had some work to do, and work I did. I can honestly say I have never worked so hard in my life. I've never stayed up so late working, whether it's rushing out an edit for a video or packing last minute orders. I cannot tell you, it is not for the faint-hearted. If I had to estimate how much time I've put into these side ventures, I would say it's about 1,100 hours outside of my day job, so roughly 3 hours a day. So this is how my year went. So if you didn't know already, I've spent the last 10 years climbing the very greasy pole of corporate sales with the strategy of putting the hard work in, consistently looking for progression, and trying not to get trapped in the same job for too long. This has allowed me to progress from a starting salary of around £22,000 back in 2012 to the point where I now have a combined salary and bonus scheme of between about £70,000 to £75,000 a year. Out of all the parts of my millionaire plan, this is the part which probably changed the least overall and is most likely the most challenging of right now. I'm currently in the same role as I was last year, and even though I have had a decent salary increase, it's still lagging behind inflation, meaning I'm effectively being paid less than this time last year. However, I have been able to increase my monthly contributions from £700 to my investments to £940, meaning I'm now able to invest roughly £3,000 more each year. And this has been driven by 2 factors. The first, I no longer need to put money into either my YouTube channel or my side business to get it to grow. And 2, I have finally paid off my student loan, mean I'm getting roughly £150 to £200 in my net pay each month than before. It's not been all easy sailing though. Inflation is quickly coming through and my household bills are increasing. And as said, my salary isn't keeping up, at least enough. On top of this, I've actually started to invest a further £100 a month in 2 junior stocks and shares ISA, as I have a new goddaughter and a new nephew, which I'm helping contribute to, just to make things a little bit more difficult for myself. To continue to boost my income, I do use a gig economy app called Roamer to make some additional income when I'm out and about. Right now, I'm making roughly £150 on this app for a few hours each month. If I needed to, I could use this app more to make some extra money, but I am extremely time poor at the moment, if you hadn't guessed, and it's unlikely that I'm going to be doing that anytime soon. Unless something changes, I think it's likely that my full-time employment is going to be the primary source of income for the time being, so I'm going to continue to focus on this as the biggest driver towards my £1 million target. Having a YouTube channel has been both easier and a lot harder than I previously thought. Growth has been faster than I initially thought. I initially thought it'd take me probably at least a year to get 1,000 subscribers. But then again, growth has been a lot more inconsistent than I thought. I've actually found that you go through periods of stagnation and then a quick boom every now and then. But saying that, I'm sure that as I've not posted for the last 3 months, that's probably not helped either. In addition to this, I didn't realise how small AdSense was towards income for my YouTube channel. I naively thought that AdSense would be this massive cash cow that would come in and really support myself with my investments, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Over the last rolling 365 days, I've made roughly £2,700 from YouTube AdSense, which sounds like a lot of money, but you need to realise I've been putting roughly 15 to 20 hours to produce a video from start to finish, so the numbers aren't that great. But where the real money is earned is through other income streams I've been able to create over the last year. From referrals on crypto.com, where I've actually made roughly $6,000, which in real money, sterling, is £5,000. On top of this, I've made roughly around £50 a month coming from Roamlet referrals, which I started back in October, meaning this has driven an additional £450 in additional revenue. And I then do have some really great support from my patrons, which gives me about £20 extra per month, so another £120 per year, which I'm incredibly grateful for. So in total, YouTube is pulling in roughly £8,000 a year, which again does sound like a lot, but you need to remember I've spent roughly about £3,000 on this whole setup, including my camera, and I'm currently saving for a brand new PC, as my current one loves to crash halfway through editing. And then on top of that, I have roughly about £75 of subscriptions that I use into the software and apps and all those sorts of things to help create videos. So all in all, it's very likely I'll have no income coming from YouTube really after factoring in all these costs. However, a lot of these are one-off costs, like a new PC, for example, well, at least for a few years anyway, meaning that I might be able to generate some excess cash towards either step 3 or even step 5. On top of this, I'm finally being approached by some decent sponsors that I'd feel confident talking about rather than the dodgy ones that I seem to get in the early stages. There's nothing that I can discuss here right now, but it would be a big difference in the amount I could make if I could get these sponsors on board. My new startup business, which has changed the most over the last year. I think back then it was called PubDog and we had a single hand-drawn logo and we had no turnover. But the concept was really simple. We wanted to create a product for dog-friendly pubs and restaurants that they could sell to customers instead of giving free gravy bones away. That was it. So to get ourselves going, we started with a humble brown paper bag, which we hand folded, inserted a dog chew and stamped, and we actually ended up changing the name to the Canine Menu. But that was mainly because we couldn't trademark PubDog for some reason. And then we've just got selling, if I'm honest. And in that time, we've gone from storing all the products in my office to taking over my back bedroom. Legitimately, it was floor to ceiling, all over the place. My missus was going nuts. Since then, we finally actually managed to secure our own very small premises, like a 35-foot container. It's nothing special. And we've also been managed to outsource all the packaging to China, because if I'm quite honest, I was getting a repetitive strain injury from all the stamping that I needed to do on the bags. And in the last 12 months, we've actually been able to gain about 120 customers, with 75 being core pubs and restaurants, which has delivered a total revenue of about £20,000 over the last 12 months. But we're currently on track to do about £52,000 over the next 12 months if things go well. And all the profits are being reinvested to grow quicker and make our proposition better. Because we want to grow quickly, I doubt I'll be paying myself a dividend anytime soon, as quite frankly, we just want to reinvest as much as possible. Even though we can't realistically take profit anytime soon, and I say we because I've got a business partner in all this. This is the most exciting part of my plan, and it's realistically going to be my quickest way to £1 million if it works out. As long as we keep growing, our costs will relatively drop and we should be able to become more and more profitable over time, meaning we can quickly go from making pretty much no money to making a lot of money in a short amount of time. It's all about scaling as much as we can. Some of you might say that I could put some kind of soft valuation on this business based on it being worth absolutely zero last year and probably worth something now, but I'm not confident in doing this, as if I actually broke down what I'd pay myself as a minimum wage for running the business, we probably wouldn't be making a profit, so I probably wouldn't give a good valuation. So I'll probably save it to next year until we have hopefully some better figures. But overall, it's going really well. I'm absolutely loving it, which is the important thing, and we just want it to grow. So for the main event and where all this money is going to, it's my investments. For any of you non-investors out there, my strategy is really simple. I primarily invest into low-cost global ETFs, which, if that sounds like jargon, I'm basically investing into thousands of companies all at once by buying one single share. So I'm effectively buying a slice of the global economy. And it's a proven strategy which shows that it outperforms most stock pickers out there. All you have to do is remain consistent and hold your nerve when the market dips. Outside of this, I have sprinkled a few £1,000s into crypto, but we're talking only a few percentage of my overall portfolio, so not that much of a big deal. So how has the last year gone for me? Well, it's been a little bit mixed. Initially, results were looking really good. At one point, my crypto portfolio was close to hitting 5 figures, and my investments in my Vanguard account were on track to hit £90,000 to £95,000, and that would put me on over £100,000 total, a whole £40,000 ahead of my position last year. But some of you might know that investments can go up and down, and the last 6 months hasn't been too great. With falling share prices, collapses of stable coins, and the crypto market being a little bit bearish to boot, my Vanguard account has only, and that's a loose only, I really do appreciate that it's still growing, has increased from £57,000 with £11,000 of profit to £81,000 with £18,000 worth of profit. And on top of that, my crypto portfolio really hasn't moved much, just from £3,000 to £4,000, meaning that my total investments have moved from about £60,000 to £85,000. I'm not going to lie, I imagine from the outside point of view, you might think that growing your pot by £25,000 is a lot of money, and I guess it is, but when you've invested so much time and energy, it really doesn't feel that much. But then again, I guess I need to think of it more optimistically. A jump from £60,000 to £85,000 is a 41% increase. If I could continue to compound that amount by 41% each year, and a bit I guess, at that rate I could hit the millionaire amount in just over 7 years. Not bad, but I would like it to be a bit quicker. It would be easy to look at all my efforts over last year and be massively underwhelmed, but I need to remember that this time last year, I had a job with a bit of money coming in from the gig economy app, and I had 3,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and I had simply an idea for a dog chew company. But skip forward 12 months, I've nearly tripled my subscriber base, I've gained 3 additional income streams, and on top of all that, I suddenly own half a brand new company, which is already on track to hit over £50,000 in revenue, which isn't too bad for just 12 months. If I could make the same progress over the next 12 months, I think I could actually be in a really, really good place. So I just need to not lose faith and carry on, even if it might be the death of me. I do appreciate that not everybody's in the same position as myself, where they can actually dedicate so much time as 3 hours every single day outside your work to follow up on stuff like this. But if you are interested in making more money and you consider yourself time poor, then this video might just be for you. That's all for this video. See you in the next one.